on next week, Saturday, June 24th, in Trenton, New Jersey, at Mount Sinai SDA Church on 35 Arlington Avenue, Trenton, New Jersey. It's in West Trenton, over there by where, close to Roger Gardens, Wilson Homes, Mount Sinai Seventh-day Adventist Church. That happens to be my grandmother Legette's family church, just like St. Philip's Baptist is my grandmother Gertrude Wilson, my great-grandmother Gertrude Wilson and John O. Wilson, and my grandmother Evelyn Webb and John Webb, and all of our family church, St. Philip's. Well, on my dad's side, my grandmother, her mother is Ethel Mason. Her father was William Mason Sr. So I have Williams all on both sides of my family. So this is my grandmother Legette and my grandfather Legette's family church. All right, this is where Terry and I both went to elementary school and middle school at. So this is a homecoming. All right, so next Saturday at 35 Arlington Avenue, Trenton, New Jersey. I believe it's at 2:00 in the afternoon. It's going to be a No More Trauma Summit. No More Trauma. So this gentleman, his name is Derek Green. Derek Green and Terry and I went to college with them. Derek Green, Terry, and I, we all went to same university that my mother and father and Xavier and Destiny now attend. So I was at our alumni weekend, our homecoming weekend. He actually works for the governor of New Jersey. Governor of New Jersey, whose office is in Trenton, New Jersey, of course. So we're down in Huntsville, Alabama at Xavier and Destiny's homecoming weekend, alumni weekend, whatever you want to call it. And we start talking about he and I just start catching up. And I was just telling him that my grandma just passed in December. Matter of fact, at the same church, we held her services. And I was just going down the list. I had several. I have 4 deaths in the beginning of this year in my family. So then I got to Shawnee. And when I spoke about Shawnee and Dollar Bill, that name rang a bell because the mayor of Trenton, who came to Sean's services, then went to the governor's office and was talking about the impact that Dollar Bill and Razor Sharp has in the city. So the mayor of Trenton left the funeral, went back to the governor of New Jersey, and my partner right here, Derek Green, and the mayor of Trenton, they're close friends. And so he was sharing with both of them the impact that Dollar Bill has had on the mayor's office in Trenton. And they began discussion about how they could potentially figure out a way to honor Dollar Bill in the city. So once I brought his name up in Huntsville, Alabama, then he began this conversation about honoring Dollar Bill. So some weeks go by and he says, hey, we've been doing an annual No More Trauma Summit in New Jersey, not in Trenton, just in New Jersey. We've held it for the past, this will be the 6th annual No More Trauma Summit. So the governor's initiative when he came into office was to put a dent in the trauma around drug addiction in our state. Long-term treatment of drug addiction, long-term treatment of homelessness. So they put their money where their mouth is, partner with some organizations, and have a 45-acre plot of land in South Jersey that used to be a summer camp, and now they've turned into a long-term treatment facility to help drug addicts and homeless people transition and get back on their feet and get back into society. That's been the governor's initiative, and this is why they started this trauma summit to go around the state and find in the different cities partners who wanted to help the governor reverse, eliminate, eradicate the trauma around drug addiction, homelessness, poverty, crime, and violence. And so my friend asked me, would Dollar Bill and would Billy or William Hackett and myself, the reason he asked me to be a part of the panel is because in Orlando, Florida, I have an organization called Break the Cycle. And we do something that we call dignified reentry. A dignified reentry. And we do the same thing, but we do it with prisoners, reuniting them with their family members and young people in foster care who are aging out of foster care, meaning they've been in foster care all of their life. They get to 18, 19, and once you're an adult, you can no longer be in foster care. And unless they are on some track to get a degree, unless they're in a degree program or in a certification program or an apprenticeship, unless they're on some type of track to get some type of accreditation or gainful employment, they will just fall off of the rolls and will not be supported and could potentially end up on the street. So in Orlando, Florida, we have an organization called Break the Cycle, and we use partnerships with businesses like Razor Sharp. So when Shay and Kenny lived in Orlando, Florida for several years, Montia, Mike, Malik, mainly Mike and Xavier were on the basketball team. Mike, Xavier, and Deja were on the basketball team that we put under the umbrella of the Orlando Magic. They have an Orlando Magic Junior Basketball League. So the way I get young people into our program and break the negative cycles is I recruit them doing the things that our inner city youth do: basketball, track, football, volleyball. Those are the main recreation that we use. So basically I use the John O. Wilson Recreational Center model to recruit. I'm using Uncle Poppy's model, pretty much. That's it. Uncle Poppy created a separate basketball team and league because Todd and Mike and his boys were some of the best basketball players in our city. But he didn't have to create a team and a league. He already had a community center. He went above and beyond the community center and he created a separate standalone league so that the talent that his sons possessed and his nephews and his nieces possessed could be showcased and they could take it to a whole nother level in competition. That is the model. John O. Wilson, for those of y'all who might be too young to know, Robert Wilson, or Uncle Poppy Wilson, is the older brother to our grandmother, Evelyn Webb, or our grandmother, Maggie Wilson, Ola, Dot, Gert. So the 5 girls, they had a brother named Robert Wilson. Aunt Ola, Aunt Dot, Aunt Gert, Aunt Maggie, Grandma Webb. They had a brother named Robert Wilson. Robert Wilson created our community center. So the pillars of the St. Philip's Baptist Church that provides spiritual food. And more importantly, when you're dealing with addiction and you're dealing with trauma and you're dealing with mental health and all of that, the only proven historical cure for mental illness can be found when David was called in to provide an art form of worship that soothed King Saul's mental illness. The only proven, you cannot medicate. There is no proven record that the method or approach towards mental health works. But the word is clear that David provided King Saul with a cure for his mental illness. The word is clear. We know the very specific instrument that David had mastered since he was a little boy, a harp. And I don't know if y'all remember, but every Friday night at St. Philip's, we had something called Joy Night. And our family practiced exactly what David and his wife Bathsheba practiced on King Saul to provide mental health. The word says, a merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth the bones and kills. So God has created a direct connection between mental health and death and the grave. And the cure, he said, a merry heart is the medicine. Not, there is no pill. And the reason why our people suffer over and over and over, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. There is no proof. There is no scientific proof, historical proof, medical proof. There is no proof or evidence anywhere that the approach to mental health works at all. That's why you still have mental health. Because nobody practices the only proven method that the God of heaven who created us said, a merry heart doeth good like a medicine. A merry heart is the medicine for mental health, for spiritual health. It's called worship, praise, worship. When David came before Saul, it said he drove out the unfamiliar spirits, and Saul's mind was restored to him every time. And then Saul sent a petition to David's family saying, I need him here. I can't have, when I have my mental break, I don't need him all the way down in Bethlehem. I need him up here in Jerusalem. So David's parents allowed David 24/7 to play for Saul, and Saul no longer had the mental health issues. It's documented. It's documented. So, as the governor and as the world look for solutions, long time ago, my mom told me stick to the script. Just stick to the script. I'm gonna show you what God commanded us to do. I'm gonna show you what my grandfather did. I'm gonna show you what my mama did. Stick to the script, son. I'm gonna show you what your grandmama did, your grandfather did. Stick to the script, son. There's nothing new under the sun. There's no reason to try and change or update or whatever. All right. So I believe our family is uniquely positioned. When the world is looking for a solution, our family has already had the solution. But we've gotten away from the blueprint. When these ancestors went to sleep, the next generation was supposed to step right up. It's called the replacements. Supposed to step right up and stick to the script. So we're getting an opportunity to go back to our roots and provide the services that our family has always provided for the city. All right. So in Orlando, Florida, we build affordable housing, and then we put them in a pipeline to teach them the economic principles, the financial principles to build generational wealth or build God's kingdom. God's kingdom is his children, their land flowing milk and honey. That's the definition of building God's kingdom. He said, you have dominion, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it. All right. So, is that Kels? Is that Kelly Beecham? Webb? All right, so let's get down to what's going to happen on Friday. So I was just recording this, Kel. So not many people got in here, so I was just recording it so that I could send it out to you guys. But basically, what I was covering before you got here was how we got here. I just told the backstory of how we got here. A friend of mine works in the governor's office. And a couple weekends ago, we also went to the same college together, the same college that Xavier and Destiny go to right now. So me, Terry, him, and his wife, we were all in college together in Huntsville, Alabama. So after Shawnee's death, I'm down visiting Xavier and Destiny, and Terry comes down with me, and him and his wife show up at the university as well. So then we go out to dinner and we're talking. And Dollar Bill and Sean's passing and all of that came up. And he mentioned that, yo, I heard about your cousin Dollar Bill because the mayor of Trenton came back speaking about Bill after the funeral. So he asked me, hey, he said, man, I heard that your cousin has major impact. He said, first, I want to come meet and I want to see the razor sharp operation for myself. So first of all, can you set up where I could just come over and meet Dollar Bill and go and see what he has going on and see what razor sharp is and what it means to the city? And I said, of course. So first time I came home, he came up, he met us at razor sharp. We went over there. Everybody came through. Vince, Larry came through, Terry came through, Shay came, everybody came through. So Derek got to see the family, razor sharp, the operation, everything. So then he put on the calendar this event. Next week, Saturday, June 24th, 2 p.m. It's an event that they've done 6 other times. They've never done it in the capital city, though. The event is an initiative to be able to, it's an initiative to be able to, they have a long-term treatment facility down in South Jersey. Yeah, Jody Rowe, what up, Puerto Rico?
Hey, Puerto Rico.
What up, baby? Um, I'm just telling the backdrop of how we got here, and plus I'm recording this so that I could put it on YouTube and I could just put it in the family thing, so everybody will know everything that um everybody who can't make it, they can still get the information. All right, so
Okay.
um I got a connection. His name is Derek Green. He works in the governor's office of New Jersey, and after he heard about Shawnee's passing from the mayor of Trenton at the funeral, we were at our university for our homecoming and our alumni weekend, and he brought up the fact that he had heard about Dollar Bill. We needed to figure out how we could honor him in some type of way in Trenton. So first, he came and met Dollar Bill like 4 weeks ago at Razor Sharp. Vince came by, checked him out. Little Larry came through, told him what he was doing in the city. Both your brothers, Nate and Darnell, was there. We talked about the Airbnb that Vince did, and he talked about how there was opportunities because the governor has committed to revitalizing the city. So there's opportunities for us to position ourselves to be able to help him get that done, and get all of those buildings that are old and dilapidated. And he's like, if y'all already doing this in a private sector, then it's just a matter of paperwork for us to be able to put into your pipeline the buildings that we need to revitalize, and just let y'all under this razor sharp umbrella just do what it is y'all already been doing, and then you can add further contractors, add further partners, and you can expand the scope of what y'all doing under the umbrella of what the governor is trying to do. All right, so I just made some bullet points between the several conversations that we had and some of the things that they want to do from the governor's perspective. And then when the family came through, we met a couple weeks ago at Razor Sharp, and what the family wants to do. So I'm about to go through the bullet points of how we think we could potentially honor Dollar Bill. I'm gonna go through the points of what the governor is asking for help and assistance in, and then I'm gonna go through the points of what we, the family, would like to do in the city if he could assist us and remove barriers for funding, for, you know what I mean, give us access to grants, other pools of money, partnerships, whatever. So we're really trying to figure out how we can all help each other make our city better, pretty much. All right. So it's going to be next week here at this location, Mount Sinai Seventh-day Adventist Church. This is actually my grandmother Legette's home church. Just like St. Philip's is Grandma Webb's church, this is Grandma Legette and my pop-pop's home church. All right, so this is where me and Terry went to school at elementary from 1st to 8th grade. So this is super, super homecoming. I mean, I didn't pick this location. I don't know how in the world, out of all of the spots it could have been at, that it ended up here, but that's just how it happened. So at 2 p.m. in the afternoon on next Saturday is when the Bill representing Razor Sharp and I represent Break the Cycle are going to be added to the annual panel that always discusses how the governor is trying to get cities like Trenton to help him in Trenton cure the trauma around addiction, homelessness, poverty, crime, and violence. Those are the 4 points that he's soliciting help with. All right. drug addiction, homelessness, poverty, crime, violence. So these are the points that, in order to make a partnership with him, they told us we needed to take Razor Sharp, and underneath Razor Sharp, create a minority business enterprise. And it's just a form that we have to fill out. There is a fee. It's almost like $1,000, but we're going to get it done regardless. I'll talk about money and all of that later, but they told us the office where to go. They told us what we needed to file. So it's a minority business enterprise. And all that is it's an American designation that says that the people in this enterprise are comprised 51% owned and operated by either African Americans, women, blah, 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 blah. All right. So we're going to file that and get that done. And once we do that, then they can give us the list of the buildings and all of that, and we can become the actual city contractors for the city underneath that designation. So that's why we're doing that. So that's the first thing that we're going to do in this partnership is underneath Razor Sharp, create a minority business enterprise. And we may create several of them, one just for a minority business enterprise and one specifically focusing on, we have a minority business enterprise that's run by the women in our family. You know what I'm saying? So, because there's certain initiatives and there's certain funds and there's certain pools of money that if you have women running the business, then you get 100% of the funds, blah, 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 blah. So we'll probably have multiple minority business enterprises, just a regular one and one where, and Shay recommended that. I'm definitely going to give credit where credit is due. Shay recommended that, and that's a phenomenal idea. So we're definitely going to do that. So we'll definitely have one that's just women and another one that's just general Razor Sharp minority business enterprise. So Nicole Starling, when I called Nikki and I said, what's a way that we could, so the mayor said we want to find some tangible way to honor Bill, but I was looking for ideas of what we could actually do as a family and say, yo, this is what we want to do. And Nicole Starling, giving credit where credit is due, she said, man, John O. Wilson has a street and Dollar Bill has put in work, and we should request that we get a street name in his honor. I said, that's dope. And to add to that, so just imagine Passaic Street where Razor Sharp is on. So we're going to petition that the portion of that block that Razor Sharp is sitting on be named in Dollar Bill's honor. All right. And then we're also requesting that the part of Wilford Avenue where Dollar Bill lives on and where Shawnee lived on, from our family church, St. Philip's, all the way back, is like 2 blocks, all the way back to the block that Bill and them live on, be named after Shawnee. All right. So there's a process to get that done. So the process to get the street name is the process of changing a street name begins with signatures. All right. So we online or in person, we got to go and we got to get at least 75% of the residents and people on the specific block. So we got to get 3 out of 4 of every house that lives on the blocks that we want to change the name to. They'll knock on the doors and hey, we would like to change this street to our nephew who passed away, blah, 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 blah. Here's the petition. Boom. So literally that's the first step. 75% of the residents that live on a specific block. So if a block has 153 units, a petition needs a minimum of 115 signatures in order to move forward. All right, so that's the first step. So Montia said she's going to help us do the online campaign. And I talked to Reese, Kel, Shay, and us older ones. We're gonna work to get the physical signatures. We got to delegate and take days of the week and send our kids out there through crews or whatever and just target the doors until we get all of the signatures. Whatever we got to do, that's what we got to do. All right. So I'm not going to go through all of the other steps. It's like 5 steps. But once you get the signatures, it's just a matter of going down to City Hall and getting them to acknowledge and begin the process for them to vote once you got the signature. All right. So it's not, we don't have to waste time on that. So now this bullet point says, what can raise a sharp group for the governor? So, like I said, the governor wants to do an initiative. But as I analyzed the resources and the assets that our family has always had, what I would like to do is to present during the panel discussion, present the fact that for years we've always had a community recreational center. For years we've always had a church, and we've always used the church, the community recreational center, and then recreation. Uncle Poppy created the basketball league that Todd and Mike and them, they was killing all over Trent. My dad's family, my dad's cousins and older cousins will tell you to this very day that Poppy Wilson's basketball team was one of the nastiest teams in the city. So it's hard to become addicts, and it's hard to get off track when you have resources in the city and when the elders are steering you and keeping you busy and keeping you active and keeping you connected, and then you developing skills to where the whole city, the whole state, the whole country, now people is in position to get full scholarships. We know Shawnee's story. We know Kevin Johnson. So Uncle Poppy and them had a blueprint. No matter what the pitfalls were in our community, they had a path to overcome the pitfalls, because he didn't just put the community recreational center there. Uncle Butch did the same thing. Uncle Butch played for the NFL. He could have came home and just worked. But now Uncle Butch took time out from his construction job to coach us championship level every year, year after year, year after year. And the value of, I know personally the value of what I got from playing under my uncle at such a high level, such a high competitive level. When I went to high school and college, I was unstoppable. And I had so many options available to me because of the investment that my uncles made in basketball and football. And now that they're gone, and now that we have an opportunity, we have a governor, we have people with resources, I think that we need to analyze and figure out amongst ourselves if we want to collectively resurrect the components the assets and the resources that we have, and then present to them as a family, like, yo, this is what we have been doing for the city, and we believe with those of us who have gone on to play sports and recreation, we believe we can use recreation again. We could use this community center again. We can use this church as a hub to do the arts. And my mom's vision was that, you know what I mean, to use the arts. And Dollar Bill has a studio already in Razor Sharp. Treat has recorded. We all know the family history and all of that, but now we have an opportunity with access to money to really take and really put top-notch professional studios, top-notch professional dance studios, cosmetology school where we control the people, we control the pipeline of our people saying, yo, I want to do like Dollar Bill. I don't want to go to school, but I would love to get my license so I can make some money and get into the hair industry. So all of these resources, I believe we need to control, and we need to offer back to them and say, listen, man, if you allow us to help y'all, we think we can help y'all help these people get back on their feet with the resources that our family has and created back in the day. And all we got to do is come together around these resources, and we can put it back in our lives. And then you can use these resources and in our family partnership in Trenton to help you reach the goals that you want to reach throughout the state and helping people get back on their feet. All right. So this bullet point says, what can Razor Sharp do for the governor? And I believe that's what we can do. And I said the John O. Wilson and the St. Philip's Baptist Church, the John O. Wilson Recreational Center. My mom was the actual homecoming queen. And Hamilton High did not, she was the very first Black cheerleader. And because she fought so hard to break that barrier, they also made her the homecoming queen. But when she went to college, she wanted to instill in me and Terry that when you have these type of resources, you have to use these resources and skills and talents to better your community, to better your family, to better, we can't just play on the level that Uncle Billy and Dwight play on and not have some type of institution and have some type of resources where we can monetize it, cause economic development, teach other generations after generations the same skills and talents. So we just need to look at the resources that we have in the family, and we need to look at building those resources in every generation is what I'm saying. That's what I believe we can do. And I'm gonna take some questions at the end and find out what y'all think we can do. I just want to tell y'all what we've covered. So this says, what can the governor do for Razor Sharp? And those of us who are supporting Razor Sharp. And this bullet point says, you can give us an opportunity to gain access to contracts, grants, funds, partnerships, to be able to bring our economic development to our capital city and to our whole state. All right. So I left it broad so that whatever visions that the family has underneath Razor Sharp, it can all fit into this. Somebody could say, yo, I think if we're going to have a cosmetology school, I think we should also have some Razor Sharp spas. I think we should have people going into doing facials and manicures and pedicures and whole body. We should have spas. And all of that is economic development. All of that is, first of all, that's jobs for people. Second of all, that's contributing to mental health and wellness. There's a text that says, a merry heart doeth good like a medicine. but a broken spirit drives the bone and kills. So there's so much here that we can expand on. And the real estate component and the building component is the one that the governor is asking for help the most on. And that's the easiest one that we could develop because so many of us work with Uncle Butch and Uncle Bub in the construction industry. So many of us have the skills. Now we got an opportunity to display it. So we also need to try and not try. We're going to have to put in the financial institutions. This is this next part. All right. So we got to put in the financial components that'll allow us to do this, not out of our pocket, but do it like the wealthy people do it. All right. And this is what the wealthy people do when they're trying to do what it is we doing. They create an endowment. All right. So what an endowment is a nonprofit's investable assets. So we have Razor Sharp. And then underneath, like if you're going to name a street after Dollar Bill, then you would create an endowment fund that is a nonprofit account that we put money into, right? So say that the governor works out to where we could get a $150,000 grant or $250,000 chunk of money, right? We put that $250,000 right into an endowment. Then whatever other business ventures that we do, the profits, they always go into the endowment, right? So it grows from 250, say we put 500, say we rehab and we fix a building and we turn it into an Airbnb, and then we say 75% of all of the profits will go back into the day-to-day operation of keeping whatever Airbnb and whatever property that we get, but 25% of all money that we get from everything goes into the endowment, right? And so all of these pools and all these partnerships that we do, we say 25 to 50% of all money that we touch, it goes into the endowment. So when we keep dumping, right? And then we find a safe place that we say, okay, we're going to invest the endowment in Apple stock. Let's say Tesla increases by 15% every year. So we say, okay, we're going to take 25%, we're going to put 25% of the endowment into Tesla, 25% into Apple, 25% into these guaranteed sure companies that grow by 15% every year. So we know no matter what, every year our endowment, no matter how much money we have in it, is going to grow by 15%. So we just keep dumping in it. And then every year you come back and at the beginning of the year, you take a snapshot and you say, this is how much is in the endowment. It's $500,000 in 2023 is in our endowment. All right. And in 2023, our endowment grew from $350,000 to $500,000 in the 12 months between 2022 and 2023. So then we could say, okay, the growth is what we're going to spend. We only spend profit off of the endowment. We never touch the principal. So we say, yo, we want to, the governor has these 5 buildings that we can convert and turn into Airbnbs. We say we're going to take the $150,000 and then we're going to put $150,000 down, and then we're going to go get a loan from the bank, add it to the $150,000, and we're going to do the renovations on the 5 properties. So that's how you use an endowment fund to fund what it is we're going to do under the name of Razor Sharp. This is how the wealthy do it. They create a fund that they only put money into, and then they invest that money, and the profits they use to build or to execute the plan that they want in whatever city or whatever development that they're doing. Only the profits are spent. You take the profits, take the profit down to the bank, and if the bank say, okay, you got to put 20% down in order for us to give you the building funds to rehab these things. We need 20. So if you need $1 million, then you got to put $200,000 down for us to loan you $1 million to do the rehab. So then we go to the profits coming off our endowment, and we get to $200,000, and we put the $200,000 down. And then they give us the 1 million. Then we put the 1 million into the rehab, and we put our $200,000 back into the endowment. You know what I'm saying? And then we rehab the properties. Once we rehab the properties, then we take the profits and we say the 25 or the 50% of the profits go back into the endowment, and then we take the other 50% and we run the day-to-day operations that we're doing under this minority business enterprise under the name of Razor Sharp. Got it? Whether that means paying each other to keep doing what it is we doing under it. We're not asking nobody to come and do nothing for free. We're going to build generational wealth between all of us, build our city, build our wealth, build our children's wealth, all under the name of an entity or entities that our loved ones have created. And this is the way that everybody does it. And it's just time that our family, we come to the table and we do it together. You know what I'm saying? So this is just the definition of what an endowment is. An endowment is a financial endowment is a legal structure for managing and in many cases indefinitely perpetuating a pool of financial real estate or other investments for a specific purpose according to the will of its founders and donors. So each and every one of us is a founder of this endowment. That's why I'm inviting y'all here, so y'all can be a founder of the endowment in Razor Sharp's name, right? And so from this endowment is how we will work to support and financially support. But when the governor sees that we've taken the financial step to build wealth in our city, I believe they're going to bless us with a substantial amount of income to get us started. You know what I mean? So that's enough. That's all the bullet points I had. So I want to hear from y'all what y'all think, what y'all want to do. I'll take a note, I'll add it to the thing, and I'll share it with the rest of the family. We'll just keep building. Kels, Jody, Reese, anybody got anything to add?
All right, I want to add something. Like, I'm with the at the jail and law enforcement and all that. I think we need to have something in place for when people come out of this program. They have a way to have access to learn new skills. Like you said, it's better or it may be good for people to get like go to vocational school or something like that. But there's also other skills that could be taught that can help them to get a head up. Like they need to learn basic things like fixing their personal credit, establishing a business, building business credit, things like that can also give them a leg up in the game instead of just coming home and not having no direction at all. Like I'll be trying to, give some information when I'm at work, but it's not really, I don't have access to like computers to be able to show them, so they can really sit down and go step by step through things and, stuff like that. I give them information so when they get home, they could go look it up. But I think that would be a very good asset to the community to have a place for, even the kids, even young kids, to get them a head start on things, somewhere they could come and just get access, because there's plenty of money to be made and there's plenty of different ways to make money, as opposed to everybody always feeling like, they need to hustle. I think if they had better information, I think they would use better information. So, that's just one of the things I think would be a good asset to the community.
Perfect. If this cuts off, this was only a 30-minute segment. So if y'all want, I could generate another one and we could come back in here. But real quick, down here in Florida, it's called dignified reentry, right? So we have 67 inmates in 9 different houses. We've committed to the Department of Corrections in Orange County that we.
Like I do notice when they come in, certain ones they push certain people to the programs, and then more so the minorities they send straight to prison. They don't even offer them programs. So I think that's
we
a big
gotta
step
address
back.
that.
Also,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's good that we. You know what's crazy, man? My dad has a first cousin. Her name is Peaches, and um, several of their first cousins had gone through addiction. So they, when my aunt was working for the mayor of Trenton, Doug Palmer, and so they was running a methadone clinic. I think off of Perry Street. I believe it was off Perry Street. So we have our people that have stepped up to the plate and said, "Yo, we want to help serve our people." We just need the governor to help us help our people. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough. It's not enough money. It's not enough resources. Not enough facilities that, like you say, target and help our people get the same access that everybody else is getting. So
yeah. And another thing.
Go ahead.
Another thing is like the Section 8 assistant living program or whatever, right? So one thing I learned is that you could actually buy a house with Section 8. You don't have to rent.
Right.
So, if we do get it set up and everything and have it where we are building up the community and fixing up houses and stuff, that's good because that allow more people on Section 8. But we also need to start putting them in place to where
they
not just renting, where they own it. Like give them a heads up on it.
That's dope. That's dope.
Stuff like that, little things to add to maybe services that's already available. That could also help.
Because you'll be surprised, man. Fifth Third Bank created a phenomenal financial account. We haven't even recreated the wheel. We just use what Fifth Third Bank already created in our program. You know what I'm saying? They have a simulated year-round program that's online with modules, Jody. Modules that teach you step by step. Starting in January, boom, 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 they teach you this financial skill. And then each person in the program gets assigned a fake food truck of their own.
Okay.
And then they teach you the financial principles from a position of ownership over the food truck. All right. So first you got to create your LLC. You got to go and open your business bank account. You got step by step. So they're in the planning stages of actually launching the food truck, but they take you through what it takes before you could even buy the truck, buy one burger, whatever. They take you through all of the financial steps to give you the knowledge of financial literacy or financial empowerment. And that's the key that nobody teaches us in school. They don't even teach it in college. My major was finance, accounting and finance was my major in college. Nobody sat us down and taught us investment strategies, finance. They teach you how to work in an office and manage rich people's funds in their businesses. That's what they teach you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what we talking about is teaching people how to become rich, wealthy people from no matter where you start at. You know what I mean? So, but the resources are here. We have them. And I'm just trying to partner with us there in Trenton to be able to offer the resources that we found all around the country there to our people there. That's all we're doing. And then we're gonna tell the mayor, listen, we had this lined up, we had this lined up, we had this lined up, we had this, the governor, and all we need is some doors to be open, and we're committing to doing this program, this, making this investment, doing this business, da 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 da. That's how I'm expecting it to go on the 24th.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds great.
And then all we got to do is make sure that we doing what we need to do for our business entities prior to the meeting, so that I hire your company to do the consulting in the financial literacy school, in the educational empowerment school. You know what I'm saying? So you will be the consultant, and so we'll be on paperwork as joint ventures. And then whenever we know we're dealing with financial literacy, we know that's Jody's LLC. Boom, boom, boom. So we cut the checks. You know what I'm saying? All we're going to have to do is make sure that paper-wise, we got all of our documents signed in our joint ventures and and then the money's just going to flow. When they put the money, and then, okay, we create the endowment, and then the endowment pays the consulting firms to be able to execute. The endowment doesn't do anything. The endowment just pays so that we can do what we said we could do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
And all we got to do is just file the entity. I don't know. Do you already have your LLC, or are we going to have to create something?
I'm going to have to set it up.
All right. No problem. That's easy. Piece of cake. Piece of cake. So, and I want each and every one of us, you know what I mean, to figure out what our niche is, and then we create an LLC and an entity for you and your sons and your family. Nate should have his own separate entity. Darnell should have his own. Reese and every last one of us should have an entity, so that when we come on the paperwork, when we do a transaction, it's just like your Social Security numbers. Like, you know what I mean? That's how we got to approach this. You know what I mean? We're gonna have all of our entities, all of our EIN numbers. So then when we moving money around, we just moving it from one company to another, because we hiring your company to come in and do the framing, blah, 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 blah. We hit Nate up. We're like, Nate, okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm sending you an invoice, cousin. On next week, Tuesday, we need y'all to frame it out. Da, 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 da. I'm sending you the invoice and the bread. Boom. I mean, so then once that happens, I know I don't got to be there. I don't have nothing. I know that Nate is going to go there, bang it out, knock it out, because I already paid him, done deal. You know what I'm saying? And so once we get to that level, it's really going to be easy, man. I believe. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to do the detailed work of setting these entities up and opening the bank account. You know what I'm saying? First, you know what I mean? Because if we're going to be moving money, it got to go into the account, the new account that entity was created under. You know what I'm saying? And as long as we can show that every dime that ever came into this organization went to where we said it was going to go, as long as we could show that, we're going to be good. You know what I'm saying? It starts with us creating those entities properly, and then we won't ever get into problems.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. As usual, I appreciate you. I love you. Appreciate you. And I thank you for that contribution. That because that didn't even come. That part of what we was doing down here didn't even come up in our conversation when I met with Shay and them. So I'm glad you brought that out, because yes, that component has to.
It's a lot of talent in the city. It just needs structure and directed the right way. That's
And a
it.
lot of them just need a second chance. You know what I'm saying? Really, what we're talking about is a second chance. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about, listen, man, I know, boom, 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 but we're gonna give you this second chance. We're not even gonna look at the past. We're gonna erase all of the financial barriers until you get to a point where you feel like you got the skills and you comfortable at being an asset and an addition to what it is we doing. Then once you do that, then it's time to begin transitioning you out of the program into regular life so we can put somebody new in here. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal. Our goal is to get them in, keep them in the program as long as we need until they are self-sufficient financially and everything, and then we move them out and then we bring in the next group.
Yo, that's what's up. Cause I got plenty options that, you know, can be used and structured, and like even if you got felonies and all of that, like you can still get on your feet, get your own business up and running
Word.
and make your own moves. Like a lot of people feel like, their background is holding them back,
Yeah.
and it's holding them back from like what's it called, blue collar jobs or something like that. But it ain't.
But it ain't stop you from Jody, the person who I'm working with down here
Mhm.
who bought this, he did 9 years in prison.
Right.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
funny because it seemed like all my mentors is felony. They got
Yeah,
felonies. Like all the
yeah,
ones that I be following and keeping up with, like one, he do wholesaling. He did
yeah,
10-year bid. He came home. He making bank doing wholesaling. Another one, she got a felony. She did her bid. She doing the trucking industry. Like it's plenty of stuff out there that,
yeah, man. Yup. This
and
dude
it's
did nine years, tried to rob a bank, did 9 years. He went to college with my pops and my mom. He graduated a year before they did. So when he got out, my pops was the only one out of their circle who would mess with him again. You know what I'm saying? Gave him an
right,
opportunity to come up and work while he had his church in Plainfield. Then after some people saw him working with my pops, they brought him to Africa, man. He went out to Africa and to Zimbabwe to be specific, during the same time where their economy crashed and all that. So to keep their church afloat and they missionary work afloat, one of his elders went to China, got an Android phone, was the only person to sell these phones in all of Zimbabwe. Man, they making like $30 million annually. So then the elder said, listen, man, I want to build a community development center here, like to be an oasis in Zimbabwe before you go back to the States to your family. So this man for 2 years went back and forth between the architects in the States and designed a multi-purpose community center, church, cafe, internet lounge, everything, right? And the dude just funded it out of his profits from his cell phone business. But the pastor, because they didn't really have the architects to be able to design and execute, so he was using the resources in America and built them a phenomenal development in Zimbabwe that we go back and forth and support every year. So then if he like, yo, if I could build this in Zimbabwe, there's no way that we can't build in the US. If I can build in Zimbabwe, come on, no
right.
economy. So we don't have no excuse, Joe. None. And him and his family bought a transitional housing unit in 2019, asked me to come on board with the programs and partner with him. And the city saw what we was doing, and the rest been history. So the path to get back on the feet for the felons is business. You are absolutely right.
It would just add so much value to the city. Like, I I be sitting and talking with them, and one of my questions is like, for the ones that's in the gangs, I'm like, what's the purpose? Like, every time I hear somebody, they like it's about money and
Trying to get that money.
right. I said, well, what if it's a way you can make that money without the
Word.
gang shit? Like, if
Jody,
you could
that's
drop your
that's
flag,
my program, girl. Yo, like,
everybody
yo, you should be my CEO, yo. You should be the CEO, yo. That's all I do.
I'm saying, like, if you could drop your flag and make that money and everybody get that money, like, it's no competition. Do you know how much money is in the world? Like, there's really no competition to it. It's so much. It's an abundance. It's more than enough for everybody. There's no need for all the violence and all the chaos. Like, that's just the mindset they try to put us in to keep us depressed. But if you step back a minute and really look, like, it's so much money to be made in so many different ways to make it, and it's more than enough for everybody. Like, it's crazy.
Yep. We're gonna do that. That's what I've been doing for 25 years. And when I show you, I've never had them when I made that conversation, and then I come with the business of that. People gave me a business when I was when me and Kanisha got married. The next year, somebody gave us a business so that we wouldn't have to be working so many jobs and go to school. You know what I mean? And that's the business that I've been given to. It's a car detailing business. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I'm gonna need you to sit down with Buddy on that.
Yeah, he can run it. He can run it.
You need to take that. He just was doing that and he just got laid off. So now he like, Mom, what am I supposed to
We're
do?
gonna give
like,
you
bro.
we're gonna give you the flyest, high end, hand polish, wax. I mean, full service car detailing, but it's gonna be all of the cats that just want to get out of the streets. You know what I mean? So we telling the city, we like, listen, man, we want you to be willing to pay a little premium. You know what I mean? Because we don't want to lowball. We want to make sure that they can still feed their family and all that. So we're going to teach them how to do it on such a high level that it's going to be the best shine that you get. But you got to be willing to support them by coming and paying top dollar. And when the city get behind it, like they did in Chicago, man, it took 8 cats. It ballooned to 64 cats in a heartbeat, yo. And I'm down here in Florida, and they still running that economic empowerment program in Chicago that we left behind. So it works.
It's definitely
it works.
Power move on in so many different levels. Like, it's really something that need to be done and something that that the whole community could be a part of and like really put effort into.
Word.
Like I said, if you it's a way to set it up to where everything is programmed into each other, like everything kind of flows with each other. Like
exactly.
Like you said, you ain't got to worry about childcare, you ain't got to worry about transportation, you ain't got to worry about it's so many things that hold people back from being able to do stuff. But if you set things up and put it into motion the right way, like all them options will be covered and it'd be good.
Dope. We're gonna make it happen, yo. I'm just gonna come with the program and say, yo, you and Buddy, yo, come through. I'm gonna give you the blueprint. We're gonna give you all the support. I'm gonna bring my team up. And once we put it in place, all y'all gotta do is just manage the asset. That's it. It's gonna do what it does. All you gotta do is manage the flow of money, collect the. That's it. Really, we've been doing it for 25 years, baby. I promise you, it's piece of cake.
All right, I'm looking forward to seeing you.
All right, dog.
24th.
Yeah. Well, me and Little Man, we coming in on Tuesday of next week early, so we'll be there early to put everything in place.
Got you. All right.
We'll be there all the way through till the 24th.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make some special arrangements or something because I think you done been here twice and I ain't seen you the last 2 times. So
yeah, then I'll come straight to the house and hang out.
Yeah, all right.
I'll bring my little man over there, let him and his big cousin roll around and yeah, we coming.
All right.
Jojo, we coming.
I'm gonna tell him.
All right. Love
All
you.
right. Love you too.
All right.
Bye.